Hi, class, and welcome to week 7. Week 7 sounds so funny saying, right? But we are almost there, guys. We have quite a bit of stuff that we're going to go over in this presentation, and I try to keep the presentations down no more than 10 minutes. So let's get started. Okay, now let's begin our look at organizational structure and change. Some key things to remember is that change can be a very difficult process. Our text tells us that the transition process is especially challenging when cultures are very different. And it gave the example talking about when you're trying to merge two companies. Well, I have something a little bit better. What about when you're trying to merge two departments? We had one manager that was a little more structured, a little more policy driven, and then the other manager was a little bit more laid back, and most staff considered them to be fun. Now you got to try to merge those two personalities, those two backgrounds, those two cultures together to try to help them work together successfully as co-managers. Another challenge is going to be how to get the change off of the ground, implementing the change. And then lastly, the challenge of resistance. Because guess what? As humans, we're naturally resistant to change. Okay, now let's take a look at Unit 7 discussion assignment. Chapter 7 tells us that there are several forces of organizational change. There is workplace demographics, technology, globalization, market conditions, growth, and poor performance. This week, you're going to be sharing a personal or professional experience of when one of these factors caused an organizational change. You're going to be discussing why did the change occur? What was the result? What resistance to change occurred, if any, and how was the resistance overcome? Several years ago, our agency did a technology change. We upgraded our technology plan. And from the very beginning, we knew that there was a population in our workforce that was a little bit more resistant to technology. Our implementation team actually told us to prepare for a 20% loss from our workforce due to a technology upgrade. Well, we wanted to try to curb that, to overcome that. And so we decided that we were going to put some training in place to try to encourage that population to embrace technology. We did it from the very beginning of using how to use a mouse, how to go online. We started with stuff that we thought people would enjoy. And so we did websites like Facebook, how to post a picture, how to post a message. And because of those things that we actually put in place, we only lost one individual. And this person was at retirement age and was having some health issues. And so they decided that this would just be the time that they would go ahead and retire. But we were we felt very fortunate because we actually implemented 4 different systems. We were a tad bit aggressive and a tad bit naive, but in the end, I believe that because of the upgrade that we did some years ago has actually put us ahead of the game with what's going on today due to COVID. You know, everything is online now, everything is web based, everything is virtual. And so it kind of prepared our staff somewhat to this change. Okay, now let's take a look at the written assignment for this week, where you'll be discussing the 3 different types of organizational structure: matrix, boundaryless, and learning. I'm going to ask you all to dig a little deeper into these definitions that starts on page 344 to assist you with this assignment. When looking at the matrix organizational structure, it's a very traditional type structure where it's really based upon hierarchy, where you'll have a president of the company, you'll have executive managers, department managers, and maybe even supervisors. But at any given time, employees will pool together for certain projects. And so they could be at one time reporting to a manager, a project manager, or even a production manager. Boundaryless organization kind of try to break down those barriers, break down those walls of hierarchy. I used to work for a company where we had a plant manager. And if I just came in one day and said, I just want to meet with the plant manager, well, I couldn't just meet with him. I had to go to my manager. My manager had to go to their manager. And then eventually, I may get to meet with the plant manager. Maybe. Well, in these boundaryless organizations, they have more of an open door policy. Learning organizations, they actively seek to acquire knowledge to make sure that they are getting better and better. I think I've shared with you all that I work for an agency that supports individuals with disabilities. So our agency is considered a learning organization. We are forever doing training and staff development. All three organizational structures can be effective. You just have to figure out, and what you're probably going to be talking about in your assignment is, which one do you think works better for you? As we continue to look at Unit 7 written assignment, you're going to be submitting a 2-page paper that's going to answer the following questions. What is the challenge to reporting to more than one manager in a matrix organization? What might be a benefit? What do you think the advantages or disadvantages of being employed by a boundaryless organization? What is the main cost of maintaining an organization learning environment? What is the greatest benefit? And lastly, what kind of organization would you like to work for and why? On this slide, we're looking at the Unit 7 Learning Journal. You're going to reflect upon the section Planning and Executing Change Effectively. That's in Chapter 7. In your Learning Journal entry, you're going to summarize some key steps in planning and executing change. Your Learning Journal entry, of course, has to be 500 words or more. Of course, you can email me anytime at sandra.shepherd@uopeople.ed. And I just want to say, you guys, we are almost there. You only have this week, next week, and then finals. And I want to encourage you to start preparing for those finals, because I know you all are going to do a great job. So I hope you all enjoy the rest of your week, and thank you for all the work you've done.